So I don't dream very often, but when I do, it's usually an interesting experience. Take last night, for example. Last night I had a dream that a resident assistant called me from another building and wanted me to take care of an incident that she had to deal with that she apparently couldn't handle by herself. And so, like a good person, I decided to walk over to her building, and I walked into the main lobby and I asked the front desk worker. I was like, "Hey, what's the problem?" And she's like, "Oh, you must be here for the party. You must be here to deal with that." I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." And so I take the elevator up the stairs to the top floor, and I walk in, and there's a small party going on. It's about 10 people, nothing big. But one of the people that's in the room is the resident assistant who called me. So I walk over to her and I said, "Where's the problem? What's the issue?" And she said, "Well, the party's fine. The problem is the coat rack has been causing an issue." And so I walk over to the coat rack and I kind of like look through the coats, and there wasn't really an issue. And so I walk back and I said, what's wrong with the coats? There doesn't seem to be any problem." And she said, "Well, it's the residents that live inside the coats that are making the problem." And to me, this wasn't a weird thing, and I still don't understand why. So I walk back over to the coats and I open one of them up, and sure enough, there's a little resident in there, and he's kind of perched inside of his coat, and he just looks really, really grumpy. He looks like he's been having a bad day. And so I was like, "Hey, is there anything I can help you with? Is there a problem?" And he just hops down out of his coat and just starts swinging his fists at me. I mean, it's like helicopter arms all up in my face. And I'm trying to be nice, I'm not supposed to hit residents, it's kind of frowned upon. But he keeps just swinging his arms at me. And so finally, that doesn't last very long, and so I just grab his arm, and when he swings at me, when I grab his fist, his body like goes past me. But instead of stopping like a normal person's arm would, his body keeps going, and it kind of like a rubber band, how it goes forward and then it snaps back. And so when he snaps back, he attempts to hit me again, but it keeps happening. He misses again, and so his body bounces once more, and it goes back and forth for about a minute or so. And finally, I just get annoyed with that as well, and I just let go. And so his arm snaps back, and his little noodle arm coils up and hits him and slams him against the wall. And he just slumps there, and he sits there and cries for a minute. And then he just walks back to his coat like nothing happened. And so I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm done with this. I can go home and go to sleep." And as soon as I get to the elevator, everybody who lives in the coats next to him just opens up their coats and starts to cry and whine that they have issues. But apparently that wasn't very important to me, and I just hit the elevator button and I got on. When I got on, however, there was no longer a floor there, but there was milk crates that had replaced the previous floor. Also, this wasn't weird to me. But there was a little girl that was on the elevator by the buttons, and she was like, "Oh, hey, did you come for the after party?" And that's when I woke up. My name is Andrew Shields, and I don't always dream, but when I do, it's an interesting time.